Behind me, we got Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and today I'm doing location audio for the NBA Finals between the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm working with ESPN, both with ESPN Deportes and ESPN Australia, mixing live audio for their pregame and postgame shows. And I'm going to take you in there, I'm going to show you how it all works. We're going to see how I have it all configured with some handheld microphones wired into my sound device's MixPre-10, going straight into a Sony camera, and then from there it's getting transmitted through a live view out to Bristol, Connecticut to go to ESPN. We're going to see how it all works. I'm going to take you into Gainbridge Fieldhouse, show you the behind the scenes of what it's like to work for an NBA Finals crew with ESPN. I don't take for granted how cool it is to be working these events. Great to live in Indianapolis, where lately we've been really blessed to have some amazing events. From the NFL Combine to the NBA All-Star Game, great conferences. There's really a lot going on in Indianapolis for a freelancer, and I am so blessed to be down here. There is so much gear down here. So many production trucks, crews, cameras, audio equipment. It's always so much fun just to see what everyone else has, like the cameras they have, the mixing consoles, the microphones. Every day they have people divided up between shooting different segments of ESPN with different personalities, different shows. And I'm just one small part of this thing. I mean, the truck lot is pretty bananas up here. They have a ridiculous amount of production trucks. We're about a block and a half away from Gainbridge because at Gainbridge there's just not enough space in the loading dock to put this whole operation. I count about 6 production trucks plus another 7 or 8 mobile office units. And then there's a tent over there. I'm assuming that is for catering and such. A couple of these trucks are dedicated as primary video and primary graphics. And then you probably have backup video and backup graphics. That's typical. And then you have a transmission truck and probably a backup transmission truck, a satellite truck that does primary, and a satellite truck that's just there if they need the backup. So from here, you've got to go through this parking structure, and Gainbridge is on the other side of this. So each day we've been getting here early at around 3 o'clock and setting up for a pregame show with ESPN Deportes. It's all in Spanish, and we've been using anywhere from 2 to 4 mics depending on the part in the show. And this is where my Noise Assist plugins and my MixAssist plugins have really helped me out. So let's take a listen to the pregame show.
Hoy es un día en el que mi objetivo principal es reconciliarme con Desiree Monsiváis. A ella mis respetos absolutos, y viene además, yo lo sé, viene una apuesta para ella más adelante. Te contesto rápido, Briseño. La pregunta es ¿por qué demonios tú no estás aquí? De esto sí sabes.
¿Estamos emocionados o está obligado?
No sé. Eso lo dirás tú.
A
Eso
ver.
lo dices tú. A ver, partidos del fin de semana. El Al-Ali contra Inter
Que
Miami.
no es un plan, ¿eh? No es un plan.
So as they're talking, you can see that there's green lines above each mic when each mic is live. On the mixer, each ring lights up green corresponding. So as they're talking, MixAssist is automatically figuring out who's talking and bringing them up and bringing everyone else down. So MixAssist is just that. It's an assist. It doesn't mix it for you. So I've still been helping it out and adding level, taking away level. But what it does is it helps you not miss any cues. So if someone starts talking, you don't miss it. It catches it for you.
A ver, al juego.
No hay respuesta incorrecta.
No hay respuesta incorrecta.
No hay respuesta
Por supuesto que
incorrecta.
no.
También se lo
La
doy
línea
Reggie.
es
Sí, ¿verdad?
Thunder favorito por 6.5.
Caray.
Otra vez.
¿Cómo le faltan al respeto a los Pacers? ¿No?
Tremendo.
¿No les parece?
¿Qué tomas ahí?
Haber dicho que está fishy esa línea.
I'm sure somebody might be asking the question to themselves, how in the heck Do you get on one of these crews? If you just want to help and you want to be a utility or a grip or an assistant or something like that, it's not as hard as you would think, especially if you're willing to work for free to get your foot in the door. These big events usually have a way to volunteer, and although if you volunteer, you may not end up directly on the production crew, volunteering will get you in the door. It'll get you some kind of credentialed access, and then that will allow you to get to know some people, okay? That's all it's about. I don't want to oversimplify and say that it's super easy, but it is not as hard as you would think. This is where all of the buses come in. This is where the players come through. All these black SUVs are delivering celebrities and people like that. So once we get down the ramp, we're going to have to go through a brief media check where they just want to make sure that I am who I say I am. They scanned my badge. So we've got the NBA Finals logo on the wall. Pretty awesome. That's the step and repeat banner where all of the people walk in and get their picture. So these are the courtside seats that people are paying tens of thousands of dollars to sit in. It's a little bonkers. Scoring table, statistics, all that. Way over there on the other side, you can see the inside the NBA set. This is the bench where the Oklahoma City Thunder will be sitting. Oh, it's kind of bonkers how much tech is on this pole right here. Lots of wires, distribution, cameras, cables, mounts, cameras. That's a little ridiculous how much stuff is on this pole. Right here is where we have been for our pregame show and our postgame show. And then this is the set where they're doing inside the NBA. So all of this gear is being routed back to those production trucks that are a block and a half away. The energy that's in the stadium during one of these games is pretty crazy, especially here in Indianapolis. The Pacers have been trying to get into the finals for like 25 years it's been. This is the Media Workroom. In here is where my cart is living. So this is my cart of stuff. After the game, we have to stage in the entry tunnel and wait for clearance to go in. It's just a long assembly line of production crews that are staged up really tight with all of our gear, and we have to wait until we're clear. And then it's a mad rush to go in. The post-game stuff that we've been doing is for Australia. Their stuff hasn't been live. They have been going live to tape back to Australia. So everything we're doing is getting transmitted through the live view, straight to ESPN Bristol, and then on to Australia for them to record it and then segment it together later. And everybody knows my favorite place. Coffee. Can't do a production without coffee. Well, you could, but
absolutely decimated the bid. Like we don't
I don't recommend it.
It was like I'm gonna add.
I have this snake. Okay, this is an umbilical snake. The other end of this goes into the camera. It breaks away for easy connect and disconnect. On the other end of this snake going into my mixer, it's 2 XLRs plus a headphone return so that I can listen back to the camera through the headphone output and just make sure that everything's happy. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen this. This is a Cattails by SoundTools. It's a Ethercon connection. This Cattails breaks out from Ethercon into these 4 XLR connectors because you can send 4 channels over Ethercon. And then it just goes straight into my mixer. And then the other end goes into another Ethercon Cattails unit. And this breaks out into 4 just analog XLR cables. And then I take the microphones and plug those straight into that. I make these 2 connection points with an Ethercon cable. And I know that they're all going into the right inputs in the mixer. And then I know that they're all going out to XLR cables. Then I throw this bundle out onto the floor and then plug all the microphones into it. So the microphones that we plug in are my Electro-Voice RE50s. It's a standard dynamic microphone, doesn't require phantom power, does a really good job of isolating people when they're in loud environments. This is one of the standard microphones that people use for this kind of work. The other microphone people use is the Sennheiser MD46. Similar mic. The MD46 requires phantom power. The RE50 does not. One of the things people say about the RE50s is that they're very gain hungry, and they are. You have to run the gain pretty high because it's a dynamic microphone, so you have to run it higher than a condenser. But with these ESPN mic flags on them, they look real nice. So that's what that is. RE50 by Electro-Voice. We're in the tunnel. We're about ready to go. I've got all my cables coiled up. Got my mixer powered up. Got all the microphones ready. Auto mix is on. There's about 4 minutes left in the game. And we're just about ready to make the mad dash to get out there. So that's what I'm getting ready to bring out there. As you can see, we've got quite a busy tunnel here. Got a bunch of people queued up. We're anxiously watching an iPad over there to see the score because we can't see inside the stadium. However, we can hear what happens in the stadium first before we see it on that little screen. Is this our position?
I think this is our position, right? Yeah, that works.
Okay. All right, audio's connected. That was quick. Got everything moved out, connected up. In about 2 minutes, we were ready to go live. Tripod on the camera, light down, lights up, mics in hands, and then ready to go. So just waiting to go live.
Time now to conquer the court, presented by the Ford Everest. Conquer the weekend. And getting into the paint has been such a big story for both of these teams.
The fact that you can give J-Dub the basketball so early and let him play point guard and let Shea get off of that 94-foot pressure is enormous in sustaining the ability to have that leg in the fourth quarter. I just thought J-Dub was sensational throughout.
Welcome back into Nothing But Net, presented by Hungry Jacks, wrapping up Game 4 of the NBA Finals. The Thunder stun this Pacers crowd and now level the series at 2-2. Tim Bontemps is here.
Tonight, they're down 7. Felt like they should be down 17 or 27 the way this game was going. And instead, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hits the 2 biggest shots of his life. That wing 3, baseline jumper, that midi he gets to all the time, puts them ahead. They go on to win the game.
The reason why you felt so good about the Pacers, they were 9-1 in clutch games in the playoffs leading into today. That last 3 minutes was so uncharacteristic of everything we've seen from this team.
Caruso, just key defensive stops, getting steals, getting out in transition, and look, getting into the physical stuff. That's just what they brought him in for, that hard-nosed defensive style that can change a game on the defensive end. Someone who can just rely and live off other people creating for him, doesn't need plays run for him, just does all the little things.
So I loaded all my stuff back in the car. As you can see, it's pretty late out. It's like, I don't know, 1 in the morning or something. These production days are long. So, you know, you deal, but then you got to go home and sleep. Anyway, got it all loaded out. Everything went great after the game. We did 3 or 4 hits. Yeah, what they do is they record it and then they piece it together later. So they were leading into a bunch of stuff. They were leading in to some highlight packages and other things that they knew they were leading into. Audio was good. We got out there in good time because of all the quick connects. We got everything linked up real fast, and it went great. So thank you for coming along. Again, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching my videos, commenting, subscribing, liking, all that stuff. It really does encourage me that I am giving you content that you're learning from, because that's what I'd like to do. I like to help people learn new things. So stick with it. I know you can do it, and we'll see you in the next one.